Focusing on the process rather than obsessing over outcomes is one of the most powerful shifts a person can make in their journey towards success. When we anchor ourselves to results, we place our energy into something we cannot fully control. Results depend on timing, environment, people, opportunities, and countless variables outside our influence. But when we direct our attention toward the work itself, our habits, our effort, our consistency, we reclaim ownership. The process becomes our foundation, something we can shape every single day. This shift not only makes us more resilient, but also turns the journey into something meaningful instead of a desperate chase for validation. When individuals become consumed with results, they often experience anxiety, impatience, and frustration. They constantly measure how far they still have to go rather than appreciating how far they've already come. This mindset can lead to burnout or discouragement when progress doesn't appear quickly. But by focusing on the work, we learn to celebrate small steps forward, and those small steps compound. Improvement happens quietly, gradually, and often invisibly. The process teaches us discipline, humility, and persistence, qualities far more valuable than any single achievement. The real magic of focusing on the work is that it transforms pressure into purpose. Instead of feeling like we must prove ourselves, we begin to feel like we are building something. The daily effort becomes a practice, a craft. Musicians don't become great by aiming for applause. They become great by practicing scales, writing songs, and refining their sound. Athletes don't become champions by staring at trophies. They become champions by training long before anyone is watching. The outcome may motivate them initially, but the process sustains them. When we immerse ourselves in the work, we develop a love for growth rather than a hunger for quick wins. Another powerful benefit of focusing on the process is the freedom it creates. When we detach from the need to constantly measure results, we allow ourselves to experiment, fail, and learn without the fear of being judged. Mistakes become stepping stones instead of stopping points. We become adaptable, open-minded, and curious. These qualities fuel innovation and personal evolution. The work becomes a place where we can stretch our abilities and discover new strengths. Moreover, obsession with the work builds identity. Results may be temporary, they come and go, but who we become through disciplined effort lasts. When we commit to showing up every day, regardless of applause or recognition, we build integrity. We become someone who can be trusted to follow through. This inner strength radiates into every part of life, making us stronger partners, leaders, and human beings. Ultimately, the process-centered mindset is what creates sustainable success. Results may inspire us, but they cannot carry us. The process is where transformation happens. It is where greatness is built, where character is shaped, and where true fulfillment is found. When we fall in love with the work itself, the results take care of themselves. And even when they don't arrive exactly as we imagined, we still grow, we still progress, and we still win in the ways that matter most. The power of consistency over instant results lies in the quiet, steady work that accumulates over time, often unnoticed until the transformation becomes undeniable. In a world driven by speed, shortcuts, and immediate gratification, the idea of showing up every day, especially when progress seems invisible, can feel slow or even pointless. Yet this slow, patient commitment is exactly what separates those who achieve enduring success from those who burn out after chasing quick wins. Consistency is not glamorous. It doesn't always provide excitement or dramatic breakthroughs, but it builds something far more reliable: momentum. Every action compounds, every effort adds a layer, and every repetition strengthens a foundation that can carry far heavier achievements later. People often underestimate how powerful small, repeated actions can be. They believe success demands grand gestures or sudden leaps, but in reality, it comes from the habit of doing a little bit every day. Whether someone is learning a new skill, building a business, improving their health, or developing their mindset, the breakthroughs they eventually experience come from hundreds of small steps, taken long before anyone notices. Consistency trains the mind to stay committed even when motivation fades. Motivation is temporary, it fluctuates with mood and circumstance, but consistency is a choice, a discipline, a habit that becomes part of who you are. When motivation inevitably dips, consistency keeps the engine running. When individuals chase instant results, they often become discouraged the moment progress slows. They expect immediate change and lose patience when reality doesn't move fast enough. This mindset leads to giving up too early, abandoning projects that needed only a little more time to bloom. Consistency protects against this tendency. It teaches endurance. It teaches trust in the process. It allows a person to keep going even when they cannot yet see evidence of improvement. The habit of returning, day after day, builds confidence not because results are guaranteed, but because the act of staying committed becomes its own strength. Over time, consistency reshapes identity. A person starts to believe in themselves not because they succeeded instantly, but because they persisted repeatedly. The remarkable thing about consistent effort is that it creates a rhythm that eventually becomes natural. What once felt difficult becomes routine. What once demanded willpower becomes almost automatic. This shift frees mental and emotional energy for deeper growth. Through ongoing practice, a person becomes better not only at their craft, but at managing challenges, distractions, and self-doubt. Consistency builds resilience. It turns setbacks into temporary pauses rather than final endings. It creates space for learning and gradual refinement, allowing mastery to unfold organically. Instant results, even when they occur, rarely lead to lasting fulfillment. They may provide a quick burst of satisfaction, but without the discipline built through consistent effort, that success is fragile. It cannot be sustained because the person hasn't developed the habits or resilience required to maintain it. In contrast, when success comes slowly, earned through repeated effort, it becomes deeply rooted. The person knows how they achieved it and can replicate the process. They have grown strong enough to carry the success rather than be overwhelmed by it. Ultimately, consistency becomes a quiet superpower. It demands patience and discipline, but it gives back transformation, confidence, and long-term success. Those who embrace daily effort, even when it feels insignificant, discover that consistency creates results far more meaningful and enduring than anything achieved in an instant. Passion for the work is a force that builds discipline in a way nothing else can. When someone is deeply connected to what they do, the effort no longer feels like a burden. It becomes a natural part of their life. Passion fuels commitment, even on the days when motivation is low or when challenges seem overwhelming. It provides a sense of purpose, something bigger than momentary discomfort or temporary setbacks. When people care deeply about their craft, they willingly invest time, energy, and focus into getting better, not because they must, but because they genuinely want to. This internal drive becomes the root of discipline, turning effort into a habit and practice into a lifestyle. Passion transforms work from an obligation into a pursuit of excellence. It encourages individuals to explore, experiment, and refine their skills. They begin to push boundaries not for recognition, but out of a desire to understand their craft more deeply. This curiosity fuels discipline because it keeps the mind engaged and the heart invested. Even when progress is slow, the love for the work keeps people returning to it. They know that mastery requires time, and they accept that challenge with patience. Passion is the spark, but discipline is the engine that keeps progress moving forward, and the two reinforce each other with every step taken. Obstacles are also powerful teachers. They reveal weaknesses, blind spots, and areas that need refinement. Without challenges, we would never be forced to adapt or innovate. When we encounter difficulty and respond with consistent effort, we begin to understand the deeper lessons hidden within the struggle. We learn resilience, creativity, and problem solving. We discover strengths we didn't know we had. These lessons do not appear when life is easy. They are forged in moments of discomfort. The daily practice of pushing through adversity builds a foundation of mental toughness that becomes invaluable in every aspect of life. Daily effort also changes our relationship with failure. Instead of seeing failure as the opposite of success, we start to view it as part of the journey. Each attempt, whether successful or not, provides information that moves us closer to our goal. When we commit to showing up every day, failure loses its power to intimidate us. It becomes simply another step in the process. This shift in perspective allows us to take more risks, try new approaches, and remain persistent even when results fluctuate. Over time, this resilience transforms obstacles into stepping stones that lead us forward rather than hold us back. Ultimately, obstacles test our commitment. They ask whether we are willing to work for what we say we want. Daily effort answers that question with action. It proves to ourselves that we are capable of continuing even when circumstances are difficult. This consistency not only strengthens our path, but strengthens our character. We become someone who does not back down when challenges rise, but rather someone who grows stronger because of them. Through deliberate, daily effort, obstacles become opportunities to learn, to grow, to build discipline, and to become the kind of person who can overcome anything placed in their path. Becoming the person who earns the results rather than chasing them is a profound shift in mindset that transforms the entire journey of growth and achievement. Many people fixate on outcomes, titles, recognition, money, status, hoping these rewards will validate their efforts or give their lives meaning. But results are not something we can simply wish into existence. They are the byproduct of who we become through discipline, character, and consistent effort. When we focus on becoming the kind of person capable of achieving great things, the results naturally follow. This approach builds a stronger foundation because it centers on growth rather than comparison, self-mastery rather than luck, and long-term development rather than short-term gratification. Achieving meaningful results requires qualities like patience, resilience, courage, creativity, consistency, and integrity. These traits cannot be faked or bypassed. They must be cultivated through daily actions. When someone focuses only on results, they often overlook the habits and behaviors needed to sustain success. They might find shortcuts or make quick progress, but without the inner strength to support their achievements, the results feel unstable or temporary. In contrast, when a person commits to becoming the version of themselves who naturally produces great outcomes, the process becomes empowering. They learn that success comes not from chasing rewards, but from building the capacity to handle them.